It's 106 on Talk Radio 790 KABC. You're listening to The John Phillips Show. Johnny is on vacation. He'll be back next week. Monday's Labor Day, everybody. Woohoo! It is Randy Wang here. The phone number to join is 800-222-KABC. You're going to need that number because I'll be asking for your calls in just a little bit. The email address is johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. That's johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com, where we get incredible requests like, hey, what would it sound like if Ulysses Hernandez was one of the two ladies in Reseda?
No!
I know.
Also, Alex writes in at johnnydon'tlikeshow@gmail.com. Did you know that Ulysses Hernandez used to perform with Amy Winehouse, God rest her soul?
They tried to make me go to rehab. I said,
No! No! No!
I've got issues. Now, yesterday, we took calls for an hour about the madness that was going on at the malls. The mall at the Del Amo Mall in Torrance, the Pacific Bay Mall in Emeryville, and other malls in Illinois and Boston, and the madness that was going on. It was National Cinema Day, $4 movies, so a bunch of kids descended upon the mall, and the really irritating ones decided to start getting into fights and causing a ruckus for TikTok views and clicks, and for people to send them some, TikTok holograms, which is a way to give people money. You can make like $3,000 a day on TikTok if you know what you're doing. And I do not. So I don't make any money on TikTok. But what I didn't know is there was another mall in Southern California that got hit. Now, it wasn't to the scale of Del Amo with 1,000 kids beating each other up. But in Moreno Valley, there was another mall at the same exact time with over 100 rowdy-ass kids causing a ruckus, shutting down the mall and shutting down $4 movie day. And the owners of this mall in Riverside County, they're not going to take it anymore. And they're coming up with a solution. I don't know if it's the best solution, but it's a solution. Because the one thing that they're not going to put up with anymore is allowing their establishments that pay a lot of money to be in these retail spaces to be victims to a bunch of rowdy-ass kids that weren't going to buy anything anyway. So the Moreno Valley Mall wants to implement an interesting solution to this problem of rowdy-ass kids roughing up the malls. For more, here's KTLA.
Chaos and violence erupts at a Southern California mall when hundreds of teens are involved in a massive brawl. Now, one local shopping...
That's some decent rhyming right there. Thank you very much for that.
Chaos and violence erupts at a Southern California mall when hundreds of teens are involved in a massive brawl.
That's almost iambic pentameter. I think this is Mary Beth, whatever her name is. She should go perform with the Improvised Shakespeare Theater Company at Largo, which I'm a huge fan of.
Now, one local shopping center is taking action to prevent further mayhem. The Moreno Valley Mall is putting a plan in place that will require minors to wear IDs complete with contact information for their parents.
That's right. They've got to put a lanyard on to enter the mall. It's got to have their name, their parents' phone number in case they cause a ruckus. What happens if the kid takes off the lanyard? I don't know, but I don't imagine it would end well. Now, this isn't as extreme as what Knott's Berry Farm did last summer when there were a bunch of rowdy-ass kids roughing each other up in line for Snoopy, where they just straight up banned teenagers from a theme park unless they were accompanied by someone over 21. I think they even tried that in a Target in Fresno because the rowdy-ass kids are going to do nothing but cause trouble. Don't know if this is the right solution, but let's hear them out. And then we'll get your response. And if you have any better ideas, at 800-222-KABC.
KTLA's John Finolio joins us live in Moreno Valley with more. John?
MB Micah, this is just one plan the Moreno Valley Mall here is considering. Mall management saying that they are being forced to get creative about identifying those who are not welcome. Now, we did speak...
I got to tell you, I kind of like the idea of a mall where you have to be over 21 to enter. And maybe we could, if it's just adults in there, we could expand the liquor license so you could carry around a drink everywhere you shop like you're in Vegas. I'd be down for that.
Now, we did speak exclusively with the director of security here at the mall and have new video of Sunday's chaos you'll see only on 5. It was a brawl at the mall authorities say was beyond the pale.
It's very dangerous.
This new surveillance video, shared exclusively with KTLA, showing several fights breaking out between kids and teens at the Moreno Valley Mall over the weekend.
So somebody, or multiple people, either just came up with the same idea to ruin $4 movie day, or there was somebody organizing this from multiple points. Not just Torrance, not just Moreno Valley, not just Emeryville, but Illinois, Boston, too. It's so strange.
This new surveillance...
Maybe they all just spontaneously got the idea, oh, the mall's going to be packed. Let's go ruin everyone's Sunday.
This new surveillance video, shared exclusively with KTLA, showing several fights breaking out between kids and teens at the Moreno Valley Mall over the weekend. In this footage, we see what appears to be a young woman dressed in black removing her shoes before charging another girl wearing a blue shirt with fists flying.
Well, there dispels one myth. Here I thought this was a bunch of rowdy boys. Turns out there's some no good girls in there as well.
In this footage, we see what appears to be...
I thought the way that teenage girls were cruel to each other was making fun of their weight until they developed an eating disorder. Now they're actually getting into fist fights? That's not becoming of our teenage girls.
In this footage, we see what appears to be a young woman dressed in black removing her shoes before charging another girl wearing a blue shirt with fists flying.
It was very upsetting to see just the amount of unruliness that was occurring just before my eyes as soon as I entered the building.
That guy sounds like he would have been overwhelmed if it was just 5 kids.
Mall security director William DeCourcy says the fighting broke out just before 6 o'clock Sunday evening.
Okay, how many times a day do you think people look at that guy and call him Paul Blart? Most of you have never even seen that movie, myself included, but we all get the reference.
Hundreds of people were at the mall for National Cinema Day, where the theater was offering $4 movie tickets.
Once again, worst promotion idea ever, and it wasn't the movie theater's fault.
It brought out a lot of kids.
DeCourcy says his security guards were overwhelmed and outnumbered by the throngs of juveniles causing chaos. It got so bad that he was forced to call police for help and temporarily shut down the mall to restore order. A similar situation happened in Torrance at Del Amo. A gun was fired and hundreds of kids were caught on camera causing mayhem. Reports of similar skirmishes happening in the Bay Area and at malls across the state. In an effort to combat the bad behavior and protect the public, this mall is now planning to require unattended minors to wear lanyards that have their names and parents' contact information.
Huh. Okay, who came up with this one? It's an idea. I don't necessarily know how you implement it because I don't know if you have the staff at every entrance point in the mall to check people's IDs, find out if you're a minor, and then let's keep going. Let's see if this idea makes any sense here. But I am skeptical, to say the least. Supportive of doing something to solve the problem, but just a little skeptical about this one.
This mall is now planning to require unattended minors to wear lanyards that have their names and parents' contact information. Kids behaving badly will have their parents called.
We would bring them.
And what happened? What's to prevent you from giving a fake number or hiring a fake parent?
We would bring them in with their parents, have them sign a waiver in a sense, and have them signed up to be at the mall without their parents.
Some locals say it's worth a shot. Others are doubtful the program will work.
Well, you would wish you wouldn't have to do it. They would behave, appropriately enough. But
yeah, that's not going to happen.
I guess, if the situation warrants it, what can you say? Yeah.
Do whatever is necessary to protect the public, protect the children, protect the employees. I think it's necessary.
That sounds like a man that does laps around the mall when it's cold in the winter. And that man should feel safe in the mall and not worried about the hooligans. I think we're bringing that word back. I think this is the moment where we bring back hooligans. Soccer fans have had it for quite some time. But now it's to describe the jackass teenagers that ruined National Cinema Day. People just wanted to see Barbie or Oppenheimer or that Gran Turismo movie. I thought it looked interesting, but I'll wait for streaming on that one. It already took me a lot to get back to the movies after COVID. But now, the fear that my movie watching experience could be disrupted by a bunch of rowdy hooligans? I'm not having that. I'll take my couch, thank you very much.
All right, and mall management was out with a statement earlier saying, quote, "We want to remind you that mall security is not a babysitting service, and it is the responsibility of parents to teach their children to be respectful and to compose themselves accordingly when out in public."
Now that is fantastic. I don't know about the lanyard idea, but I absolutely love that mall security is putting the parents on blast. We are not your babysitters. Raise your damn kids properly. If your kid is beating the crap out of another kid on TikTok, you might not be a very good parent.
Respectful and to compose themselves accordingly when out in public. In Moreno Valley, I'm John Fenolio, KTLA 5 News.
All right, John, thank you. A good reminder there.
Gotta love that banter. So that's the plan at Moreno Valley, at least the inception of a plan. We had a bunch of rowdy-ass teens rough up the mall on Sunday. So what we need to do is have any unaccompanied minor wear a lanyard with their parents' contact information. And that way, if they get rowdy, we know who to call, we know who to put on blast. Now, other establishments have taken a stricter approach. Knott's Berry Farm had a wave of these violent incidents last summer and leading into the Halloween Not Scary Farm season. Now, this problem did not expand to Fright Fest or Universal's Halloween Horror Nights or whatever Disneyland does. But at Not Scary Farm specifically, you had packs and packs and packs of hooligans beating each other up at a theme park because they could film it and put it on TikTok. And so Knott's Berry Farm, for quite a few months, implemented, again, at a theme park where the target audience is 14-year-olds, a policy of no unaccompanied minors in the park. That's right. You're going to need a responsible adult of 21 years of age to enter the park. Now, you could get one adult to, I believe, sponsor 5 or 6 kids. But someone's got to be watching them, and that cut down on the problem. I mean, it also kind of made it difficult to enjoy a theme park if you are a teenager, because it's one of the fun things that you can do between those years of you're a little kid and your parents take you to little Snoopy land and you're a fully formed adult. It's a lot of fun to go to the theme park when you're in your teens. But, you know, the bad kids ruined it for everybody. And that's where we are. You know, why do we have to deal with TSA? Because a few jackasses ruined it for everybody. I mean, they did some horrible things. But the shoe guy, because of one shoe guy, everyone's got to take their shoes off unless you pay for TSA pre-check or global entry. But you know what? This is a solutions-based audience. Yesterday, we talked about the cause of these problems and what do you think caused it? But today, we're on the other side of this. How do we stop this from happening again? The Moreno Valley Mall has an idea of putting lanyards on unaccompanied minors with their parents' contact information to prevent the mall brawls from happening in the future. What do you think of that idea? And do you have a better one? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. It's time to pretend that you're the head of mall security. How would you prevent another mall brawl? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. The Moreno Valley Mall, in response to Sunday's mall brawl, has a new policy they're thinking about, requiring all unaccompanied minors to wear a lanyard with their parents' phone number. That way, when they're rowdy, they know who to call. What do you think about that idea? And if you are the head of mall security, do you have a better idea to prevent the mall brawls? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. How would you prevent another mall brawl? Let's start with Michael David in the Northridge. You're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, John. How are you today, sir?
Doing great.
Well, this is what I think. They got a good idea, but then again, how are you going to know if that's their real information? That what they would have to do is come in there with their parents. You got to have a booth where they can sign up, and the parents sign up. They put the addresses down, so we know stuff are not phony. But I have a way of these kids today, when they're in high school, freshmen. I thought I was very strong as a human being, and I am when I was 13. But I think they should be charged as adults. They get in that melee. They want to take out the juvenile halls and everything. Good. We're going to put them in the jails. We're going to get rid of our district attorney. We're going to start deterring people. This is what happens when you do things like that. And people don't want to put up with it. They had to smash and grab. The guy there getting pepper sprayed. No more. We got to put a stop to it. But that's a good idea. If they want to do that, but you got to come in so you make sure that information is right. So when they do go after them, we don't have phony information.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for the call, Michael. And yeah, if we had the political will to do these things and start putting people in juvie again, but we're not doing that. We're emptying out juvie, and George Gascon does not want to charge any juvenile with anything and just put them in camp. And we haven't even been able to arrest anyone anyway from these things. But okay. There's one. You got a suggestion on how we stop the mall brawls? Moreno Valley is requiring lanyards for unaccompanied minors with their parents' information on them. That way they know who to call when they get rowdy. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Andrew in L.A. Andrew, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Randy, you got the right idea about the whole Vegas thing. So, Vegas, you want to sell alcohol and walk around freely because you're an adult. And so you're proofed. So bars have been doing it for decades. I'm head of mall security. I'm going to hire a squadron of bouncers at every entrance of every mall, and I'm going to have them ask for ID. And then if the ID isn't of age, they're turned away.
I love it. Now, can we have one of the bouncers be named Tiny?
Next to Tiny is Little Joe, and Little Joe is going to have a shotgun filled with beanbags. So it's a non-lethal. If there's ever a riot or anything breaks out because somebody forged their ID, then they get shot with a beanbag. They go down, they cry like a child that they are, and then their parents get called.
I think that is quite the idea. Thank you so much for the call, Andrew. What's this? We here at 790 KABC do not advocate shooting children with beanbags. I just had to read that for legal purposes. But I love the idea. Honestly, teenagers that are not around with their parents aren't buying crap at the mall. Maybe they get a hot dog on a stick. Maybe they get an Orange Julius. I haven't been to a mall in a while. Do these places still exist? Maybe they do that. But they're not going to Nordstrom's. They're not going anywhere but to cause trouble. I think the bouncer idea is great. I think you make the malls 21 plus, and then you can drink booze while you're shopping. That is the way to go. That way I'm going to spend a lot more than I would spend if I was sober. In response to the mall brawl, Moreno Valley Mall is thinking about a new policy where unaccompanied minors would have to wear a lanyard with their parents' contact information on them. That way they know who to call when the kids get rowdy. Do you have a better solution for how we stop these mall brawls from happening ever again? 800-222-KABC, 1-800-222-5222. Let's start with Morris in L.A. Morris, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello? Howdy.
Yeah, I've got a suggestion. The problems we're having today is family related. Everything starts at ground zero. When the children aren't educated, they're not raised properly, they become hoodlums. Okay, and this is not from now. This is from 40 years ago. There's no parenting. It's out of control. I like to see them start identifying the parents of all these hoodlums are breaking into stores, these mobs. Start showing the income, where it's coming from with social services, whether they were married, whether it's a nuclear family. What's going on today it's out of control like this.
That's an interesting idea, Morris. I kind of like where you're going with this because, whenever we see juveniles committing crimes like robberies or burglaries or getting into fights, we can't broadcast their information because they're minors. But we should broadcast the parents' faces and the parents' pictures and say, this is who raised that.
You got it. You hit it right there. This is the end result of today. Larry Elder is right. You hear his commentaries and his speeches, he's correct. The family unity, it is out of control, and it's going to get worse. All right? I don't think nothing's going to change in my lifetime. I'm glad I'm a senior citizen. This is horrible what's going on today. That poor shopkeeper yesterday in Pasadena, they broke into his store to steal some jewelry, all right, and leave the guy, he's got to pay rent, and how he can upkeep the store this way with a smash and grab, and nothing is done about it.
It's just horrifying. We'll get to that story later on in the show. Morris, thanks so much for the call. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Dave in Whittier. Dave, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Okay, Randy.
Yeah.
Here's my solution. It's a three-step process. I'm going to add the gentleman before you. He said get these bouncers at every entrance and call them Tiny. Well, I say call them Tiny 1, Tiny 2, Tiny 3. And when they catch a kid in the mall without ID, take him over to a room that has it said overhead, corporal spanking, okay? Corporal spanking if they're caught in the mall. And then have a girl inside that room after the spanking, give them an independent expenditure flyer from the mall owners, which they can do if they want to, that says volunteer to get Gascon out. Vote Gascon out.
It's an interesting idea. Unfortunately for Moreno Valley, that nonsense happened in Riverside County, so Gascon has nothing to do with that one, but I get where you're coming from. We here at 790 KBC do not advocate for spanking of other people's kids. Okay, just had to read that. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. How would you stop the mall brawls? Moreno Valley wants lanyards. What do you think? Let's go to Jason in Hollywood. Jason, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Yeah, this is very simple. It's just a matter of cameras. You see them coming and you put up double doors. Double doors should be on all jewelry stores, and they get caught in the middle, and the mother and father get a $250 fine to pick them up.
So every place needs a vestibule. Now, what do you do if you've already got all these kids in the mall and they're all of a sudden, in just a matter of seconds, they start breaking out into fights? Do you lock them in?
Well, this is why you have cameras there. You see how many people are coming. It's only one guy at the cameras. You have double doors. They're caught in between the two doors. How much fighting are they going to do? They're jammed in there. And the parents are called, and it's a $250 fine to get them out. They'll never do it again.
There you go. Thanks for the call, Jason. A lot of interesting ideas out there. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Debbie on Latuna. Debbie, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hello, this is not Debbie, but it's close.
All right, who are you?
This is Teddy.
Teddy, I'm so sorry. I just got to read what's on the screen. Let me do this properly. Teddy, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, John, who's in Palm Springs playing around again. Listen, here is such a simple solution. Number one, when people come through the door, the cameras take a picture of them. And at the same time, they track their cell phone, which your cell phone gives off the number, whether or not, you're operating the phone. So that's what they do. And then they coordinate the picture with the cell phone. And then when they see this person, cause a ruckus, they've got them. It's so simple.
Now, is it going to make it more difficult when all the kids are wearing masks so they can't get identified on camera?
It makes no difference because their phone number is keyed into whether they've got a mask or not.
I think that's
And you can
actually an
tell
interest.
from
There's
their-
something there. There is something there, Teddy, because every one of these kids obviously has a phone. Heck, half of them are filming each other while they're beating each other up.
That's right. Not only that, but you can identify people through their eyes, which is far superior to fingerprints. So, I mean, with the technology, which they apparently have in China, it'd be very simple to implement.
There we go. Thanks so much for the call, Teddy. It was Teddy with a T, not Debbie with a D. It is the John Phillips Show. It's Randy Wang here, but if you call me John, I don't really care. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to Rick, Los Alamitos. Rick, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
John and Randy, I know John's away. Hey, we're overthinking this. Have you ever trained a dog?
Yes.
They have wonderful collars available. And any kid that comes in unaccompanied, you give them a collar around the neck, around the wrist, and let them know if they misbehave, they're going to be rudely awakened. And if they get into a brawl, somebody pushes a button, and I guarantee you a couple of shots, and you won't have any more brawls.
There you go. Shock collars for the kids. I don't even think I have to read legal for that one. But you know what? I mean, we're already heading down that path. You ever seen at Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm or Universal, the kids that are on leashes, the 4-year-olds that are leash trained? So we might as well keep going in that road. 800-222-KABC. How about Judy in Fountain Valley? Judy, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm from Fountain Valley in Orange County, but we have the same problem here. Somebody just already mentioned masks, but I think no masks and black hoodies for the time being, because they'll change colors, should be prohibited.
Oh, I 100% think that's what we need to do to stop a whole bunch of things, including the smash and grabs. But politically, we're never going to get there thanks to Barbara Ferrer.
Well, Orange County might be a little more open to it, so we're a little bit more sane up here.
You know what? I would love to see Orange County implement that. And then when L.A. doesn't, and L.A. still has all the smash and grabs and Orange County doesn't, you guys can do what you do best, point at L.A. and laugh at us.
Yeah, well, we're doing that now, I'm sorry to say.
We understand.
I love your show, though.
Thank you so much for calling. Appreciate it. Call again. 800-222-KABC. Dave in Northridge, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Randy. How you doing? I actually worked mall security. I'm a police officer, and I worked as an off-duty officer there. And we were effecting arrest on a juvenile, 6 foot tall, who was acting up, and him and a group of probably 8 other juveniles. Anyway, while I was effecting the arrest, he tried to grab my gun, and I put him on the ground and broke his nose a little bit. And he was all tough before the arrest, and when he was on the ground, he was kind of crying like a little girl. After that, we didn't see that whole group there for a while. So I don't know. This happened a number of years ago. I don't know if you could do that now, but that's what we did. We got rid of a whole group of people by doing that simple thing.
Well, you have to. I mean, the kid was going for your gun.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably today the officer would get in trouble, but we had good footage around, good camera coverage, and you could clearly see that it was a justified use of force. But from what I understand, the people working the malls today, they don't have that leeway. They kind of just more or less back off and let the kids do what they want, unfortunately, because, you're working this as an off-duty gig and you don't want to get fired from your real job, tangling with a, punk at the mall.
Yeah, I totally understand that. But thanks so much for the story, Dave. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. The phones are exploding. We love it when you guys call in. This is the radio station that loves to hear from you. We love your calls. We love your opinions. 800-222-KABC. Let's go to Fred in Huntington Beach. Fred, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, what's shaking?
Well, I got tight underwear on, so nothing much.
Good. Okay, it's very simple, man. On the way in the mall, you say, buddy, give me your driver's license. you can pick it up on the way out. That's simple.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, it's called common sense. Common sense. We should be doing the same thing for voting, by the way. But nevertheless, on the way in, you grab the driver's license from the hoodlum, and hopefully he'll behave, and he can grab it on the way out.
Now, what do you do about the kids that are too young for a driver's license?
Well, they're usually hanging with a hoodlum, meaning if the little brother comes with a ride, then he's going to need his brother to give him a ride home. So you're going to grab 95% of them.
There you go. Thanks so much for the call, Fred. Appreciate it. Let's go to Bill in Granada Hills. Bill, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, when I was young, my mom, whenever she took us anywhere and dropped us off, she would give us the speech. Don't you do anything. They look at me, not you. It's not your fault. They blame me. And I think we should go back to that. I think we should just simply grab the kid, take him home, and have the parent spend the night in jail. You think that kid's going to be out pulling some shenanigans again? That parent is going to give him a homeschool whipping, and it won't be issued by the government.
Well, there's an interesting one. Have the parents legally liable for the nonsense their kids do. I'm for that.
They are. We're supposed to be liable, but we don't do anything with it. I mean, my mom would drill us about this. They're going to put my house on the front page, not yours.
We need a little more of that. Thanks so much for the call, Bill. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Let's go to Gary in Huntington Beach. Gary, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, Randy, you're doing a great job while John's away.
Thank you.
Hey, my idea is at the jewelry stores have these retractable doors that go down. And I think the mall should also have, at every entrance, have these retractable doors go down. So when the kids are in the mall, you keep one entrance open. You have all the police go to the one entrance. You close all the other entrances with the retractable. It's like a garage door that would come down with bars. But you keep one open and have the police all go to that one entrance that's open and just bring all the paddy wagons and paddy buses.
You know, we haven't seen a good old paddy wagon in quite some time. That's exactly what we need here. Lock all the entrances.
Block all the entrances except one and just bring in the paddy wagon. Just have all the police wait at one entrance.
I think you got an idea there, Gary, although someone's going to complain that it's a fire hazard, I'm sure. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. How about Jim in Ventura? Jim, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, Randy, thank you. I think an idea would be have an ID for, I had one as a young student, I have one as a driver. You come into certain locations at the mall, they document that you're there, they track you while they're there, and they have full information on you. You could also do those in smaller like Kmart, and some of the stores are getting ramshackled lately, like Target. So you always know who's on the premises in the event there's a kidnapping or some other type of situation. You know someone was there at that period of time. Check in, check out.
That's a very simple solution that I'm sure we will never implement. But I love that idea. Everyone's got to sign in, check in every time you go into one of these stores so we know who is on the premises when the nonsense happens. That's one idea. This all, of course, in response to Moreno Valley Mall. Their response to the mall brawl that happened there on Sunday is lanyards on the teenagers with their parents' contact information. That way, if they get rowdy, they know who to call. You got a better idea than that, you can give me a call. 800-222-KABC. Mike in Santa Clarita. Mike, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hi, Randy. I like that last guy's idea about the radio frequency chip. But if you got all the malls in the state together and had like Sam's Club has a card, Costco has a card, if all the malls had a card you had to show at the door with a radio frequency chip in it, you could keep track of the kids, and you would have them scan it at the door and make sure they are who they say they are.
And you know where you rarely hear about any of these incidences? A Costco.
Right. You have to show your ID. I mean, you have to show your Costco card. Now they're checking it at Costco. The people are stealing stuff, or not stealing. They're using other people's cards at the checkout. And now you have to show your ID when you're going to the self-checkout at Costco because too many people were borrowing other members' cards. But anyway, it's just my idea. All the malls have an ID card like Sam's Club or Costco.
There you go. Have a Westfield card. Thanks so much for the call, Mike. Appreciate it. 800-222-KABC is the phone number. Bill in Anaheim. Bill, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Yes, I know things will have to change a little bit for this to happen, but once it does, I think it would really work really, really well. When I was in elementary school, if you were bad, they hauled you in the principal's office, and you had to wait for the parents to come pick you up. And most of the time, the parents weren't happy about having to come pick up your kid because they might have had to work or whatever. You got to make the parents more involved for them to have to come pick up the kid if they were bad. Maybe the parents can help because I think otherwise you ain't going to be able to do nothing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the call, Bill. Appreciate it. There's an idea. Instead of letting him flee, put them all in zip ties and wait for mommy and daddy to come claim your kid. Let's go to Henry in Norco. Henry, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? No, what I think is these kids need to get disciplined. All these parents are all too goody-goody for their kids. You know what? When I was growing up, I did something bad, I got disciplined. And another thing, security guards, you know what? Carry beanbag guns. Show these kids, you're not going to take their crap anymore. And on top of it, instead of making a flash grenade, why don't you make like a flash pepper bomb, and throw it at them so they all get pepper spray and stuff. And then capture them and then call their parents.
There you go. There's an idea. Thanks so much for the call, Henry. I feel like the innocent bystanders don't want to get pepper bombed, though, so I'm not going to say we're doing that one. But I love the enthusiasm. How about Don in Huntington Beach? Don, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hello. Hey, my thought was, they did a scarlet letter to prostitutes in the old days. Why don't we take that same idea, a dye spray or something that they use on money at banks when it's robbed, the ink explodes, put a sprayer unit above all the doors and on the way out, spray them with indelible purple ink, and they'll be tagged for a long time knowing who they are and what they did.
That is a fantastic idea. I love that. That way we know exactly who they are. And that'll work with the brawls. That'll work with the smash and grabs. Get the stuff that does not come off. I'm all for it. Don, that's brilliant. Thank you so much for the call. This audience, solutions-based audience, you KABC listeners, you people know what's up. All right, let's take a couple more here before break. Let's go to Nick in Torrance. Nick, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello. Hello, Nick. Goodbye, Nick.
This is Vic, not Nick.
Okay, let me try that again. Vic, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
Hey, if you really want to track those kids, everyone has a phone. Call the phone companies, make them give you their positions because they always track you. Yeah. And they know who they are and everything. Who is the phone under, which name and everything.
And you can still protect their identity, but if you see hundreds and hundreds of phones all beating each other up at the same time, you should be able to know who was where and do something about it. Thanks so much for the call. Let's go to Josh in Pico Rivera. Josh, you're on the John Phillips Show. Hello.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Listen, the way I see it, you guys it's all good solutions, and you'll maybe get some arrests. But then you got DAs like Gascon will just let them go. No, you want to make an impression on these people so they don't do it again. So what you do, South Africa had the answer. They had these problems out in South Africa a long time ago, and their security people, they line up abreast of each other, and they take these whips out. Then they come down the hallway in unison from side to side like a drill team. These long whips. It's a long rod with a long rubber whip on it, and at the end is a lead ball coated in rubber. And they don't. You're in the act of doing this. You're threatening people, so they're going to put the threateners down, and they come. People run and scatter because they don't want to get hit with those things. And that would put an end to the rioting.
Well, there's definitely one idea. Have some guy standing there with a big old bullwhip. Didn't have to use it, but just him standing there. That's the deterrence. I think that's what he was going for. You people have some very, very, very creative ideas. And I think we're going to send these to the Moreno Valley Mall. See if they can implement some of them. Because some of these ideas were better than a lanyard. Some of these ideas were worse. It was a mixed bag. But I appreciate you participating. I appreciate you calling in and emailing. We got one more hour to go, including Throwback Thursday at 2:30. So you want to play along for that? We'll tell you when to call. It's the John Phillips Show on KBC.